Daily Dose of English presents Daily English Idioms. Part 13.
In a quandary. Meaning: to be in a difficult situation or dilemma. Examples: he was in a quandary over what to do. She was in a quandary about whether to accept the job offer. I was in a quandary about whether to stay or go. Back to the wall. Meaning: to be in a difficult situation with no other option. Examples: he was backed into a corner with his back to the wall. She was forced to make a decision with her back to the wall. I was left with no choice but to fight with my back to the wall. Get your knickers in a twist. Meaning: to get angry or flustered over something. Examples: his knickers got in a twist when she forgot their anniversary. I don't know why he gets his knickers in a twist every time I suggest something. She got her knickers in a twist when she heard the news. Spread your wings. Meaning: to try something new and explore different areas of life. Examples: now that she's graduated, she's ready to spread her wings. He was ready to spread his wings and try something new. She spread her wings and moved to a different city. Cost a pretty penny. Meaning: to be expensive. Examples: that dress cost a pretty penny. His new car cost a pretty penny. Her house renovation cost a pretty penny. Down in the mouth. Meaning: to be unhappy or depressed. Examples: he's been down in the mouth ever since his job interview. She's been down in the mouth since her breakup. He's been feeling down in the mouth lately. On an even keel. Meaning: to maintain a steady, balanced state. Examples: she's been able to keep her emotions on an even keel. The team managed to stay on an even keel throughout the competition. Despite the challenges, the company managed to stay on an even keel. Have the world at your feet. Meaning: to be in a very good position in life. Examples: after graduating at the top of her class, she had the world at her feet. His success had the world at his feet. After the success of her business, she finally had the world at her feet. Dig in one's heels. Meaning: to be stubborn, to resist change. Examples: he dug in his heels and refused to budge. She dug in her heels and refused to give in. They dug in their heels and refused to negotiate. No use crying over spilt milk. Meaning: there is no point in regretting something that has already happened. Examples: there's no use crying over spilt milk, all we can do is move on. Stop worrying about the past, there's no use crying over spilt milk. I know it's too late, but there's no use crying over spilt milk. Get, or have, someone by the short hairs. Meaning: to have someone in a difficult or vulnerable position. Examples: he has me by the short hairs and knows it. She knew she had him by the short hairs. I was in a difficult position, they had me by the short hairs. No spring chicken. Meaning, to be old or past one's prime. Examples: she was no spring chicken, but she was still capable of running a marathon. I'm no spring chicken, but I'm still up for a night out. He was no spring chicken, but he had a lot of life experience. Off the cuff. Meaning, to speak or act without preparation or forethought. Examples: he often speaks off the cuff, without thinking about what he's saying. She improvised her speech off the cuff. He gave an off-the-cuff response to the question. Butter wouldn't melt in someone's mouth. Meaning, to be acting innocently when one is actually guilty. Examples: she was acting like butter wouldn't melt in her mouth, but I knew she was guilty. He looked like butter wouldn't melt in his mouth, but I knew he was up to something. She acted like butter wouldn't melt in her mouth, but I knew she was responsible. Monkey business. Meaning, to be involved in suspicious activity. Examples: I'm sure there's some monkey business going on here. I don't trust them, I think there's some monkey business afoot. I'm sure there's some kind of monkey business going on behind our backs. Be murder. Meaning, to be extremely difficult or exhausting. Examples: that exam was murder. That hike was murder. His job was murder. To live beyond your means. Meaning, to spend more money than you make. Examples: he lives beyond his means and is constantly in debt. She lives beyond her means and can't seem to save any money. They were living beyond their means and were struggling to make ends meet. Do a world of good. Meaning, to be very beneficial. Examples: the new policy will do a world of good for the company. Taking a break will do a world of good for you. Eating healthy will do a world of good for your health. Egg someone on. Meaning, to encourage someone to do something they wouldn't normally do. Examples: his friends egged him on to try the roller coaster. She egged him on to try stand-up comedy. They egged her on to try the new recipe. Life of Riley. Meaning, an idiom describing a life of luxury, ease, and comfort. Examples: she was living the life of Riley after winning the lottery. He lived the life of Riley until his company went out of business. After receiving a promotion, she was living the life of Riley. Dark horse. Meaning, an unknown person or thing that unexpectedly achieves success or prominence. Examples: she was a dark horse in the election, but won by a landslide. He was a dark horse candidate for the position, but he got the job. After months of practice, the dark horse team won the championship. Today's idioms were: in a quandary, back to the wall, get your knickers in a twist, spread your wings, cost a pretty penny, down in the mouth, on an even keel, dig in one's heels, no use crying over spilt milk, get or have someone by the short hairs, no spring chicken, Off the cuff. Butter wouldn't melt in someone's mouth. Monkey business. Be murder. Live beyond your means. Do a world of good. Egg someone on. Life of Riley. Dark horse.